The legacy of an ideal environment from the Garden City movement in Australia. The Garden City movement emerged in the UK as a response to social problems in the areas known as slums in the 19th century, just prior to Australia becoming a nation under Federation in 1901. Slums were seen as a result of overcrowding and disconnection from nature in urban areas due to the Industrial Revolution. While Australia was a relatively recent nation, like Britain, it too had many slums. Ebenezer Howard, the founder of the Garden City movement, advocated the creation of new, fully planned garden cities. He believed these would be free from the problems found in slums, fostering the notion of a residential ideal. These cities were to have abundant open space, a connection with nature, and designated residential, public, commercial and industrial areas, providing all the opportunities required for residents to live satisfied and productive lives. Due to the similarities and the close cultural ties between the UK and Australia, the ideas of the Garden City movement soon spread to Australia. In suburbs built just after Federation, such as Haberfield in Sydney's inner west, the developers were influenced by the Garden City movement, and it was marketed as a garden suburb. This can be seen in the architectural elements, such as freestanding houses connected with both private and public open space, wide verges, and lack of rear lanes, which demonstrated a degree of compatibility with the ideas of the movement. However, the lack of a complete understanding of Garden City principles is shown in the lack of non-residential precincts and the inorganic rectilinear or gridiron street plan. Many of the original proponents of the Garden City believed that garden suburbs were actually incompatible with their ideals because of the remoteness of these suburbs from areas of employment. However, as the ideas of the Garden City movement became more influential in Australia, the increased usage of automobiles meant people could live further from where they worked. The ideas of the Garden City movement were increasingly applied not to new garden cities, but to garden suburbs surrounding existing urban centres. Daceyville in Sydney South is a good example, which features a street plan directly influenced by Ebenezer Howard's designs. Garden suburbs such as Haberfield and Daceyville, along with many others, had a great influence on subsequent suburbs and became intertwined with the architectural style later to be known as Federation. Federation drew on styles such as Arts and Crafts, Queen Anne, Art Nouveau and American Shingle. This reinforced a British, and to a lesser extent European and American connection in Australian identity, at the expense of other cultural heritage. The use of nationalistic imagery based on native flora and fauna reinforced a connection with nature and the outdoors, along with planning and architecture which promoted a self-reliant outdoor lifestyle, creating a bridge between urban and rural regional identities. Contradictory elements promoted by garden suburbs such as egalitarianism, promoted by equal access to housing, as opposed to elitism, which often resulted from individual property rights, together still form part of Australian identity through notions such as the Great Australian Dream. The influence of garden suburbs has led to Australians increasingly using automobiles as their primary mode of transport, often resulting in their desire to live closer to nature, actually causing greater destruction of the natural environment through increased transport and land usage. However, these negative effects have been mitigated by a flexible approach to the application of Garden City principles by combining garden suburbs with existing urban and regional centres and allowing for different planning and lifestyles to coexist, but still to some extent having a connection with the residential ideal embodied in the garden suburb. A model for a successful and a relatively egalitarian society has been created. Through the legacy of these garden suburbs throughout numerous Australian suburbs, the social reform goals of the Garden City movement have perhaps been exceeded in laying the foundation for a better society, although of a different kind to the one they had planned. In conclusion, the legacy of the Garden City movement in Australia has come through the garden suburbs' influence on many subsequent suburbs, allowing minimisation of slums and similar living conditions, providing for the foundation for a decent lifestyle for a large proportion of Australians, and a flexible approach to planning, allowing addition and adaptation of existing cities rather than the construction of new ones.